Welcome to Ending the Stupid Gender War. This show is only for intelligent, mature, non-ADHD, non-doom scrolling people only. So, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely do share this with everybody you know, if possible, obviously. And let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Let's see how exciting today's show is. Alright. Jumping right into it, beginning with the women. What are their complaints for today's gender war battle? Alright, so the theme is going to be friendship. Okay. So the backup plan she can feel. He says she's just a friend, but he talks to her more than he talks to me. Wow, that's actually off to a very bad start. Yeah, you shouldn't be talking to a female friend more than you talk to your girl, your woman. Okay? That's not... Yeah, that's a huge red flag on you, buddy. He remembers her coffee order. Okay, yeah, we're already way over the line here. Vents to her about our fights. Yeah, see, this is why I talk about in my book and on so many shows, I mentioned that friends are only going to get in the way of the opposite sex. Friends of the opposite sex. Don't play with fire. Because there's so many bad things that can happen. And then you might insist, well, I don't care, she's my friend. Okay, that means that you don't love your partner as much as you claim you do. Because let me tell you what, your partner needs to be the only woman in your life that you really care about. Your family takes a back seat. Your friends take a back seat. And I really mean the back of the seat. Like a bus. All the way in the back. How about that? They're not going anywhere. But your number one priority is that driver's seat with your girl on your lap. Understand? Capiche? That's how serious you need to be with your relationship. Go ahead. Play with fire. But when the smoke starts coming and it gets out of control like a wildfire, don't say I didn't warn you. It's just stupid stuff like this that guys, they don't get it. They're like, no, I can keep my female friends. All right. Let's see how that's going to end. Maybe not now, maybe not soon, but eventually. But most likely than not, it's going to be an immediate problem. It's just a matter of time. Just so stupid to keep, your friends of the opposite sex hanging around. What do you need them for? It's just... And if they knew any better, your female friends, they would respect that you have a relationship with your wife or your girlfriend. And they would take the back seat for you. Guys, man... There's so many stupid guys out there. They have no idea what they're doing. How to really manage a real relationship the right way. You got to show respect to your woman, man. You can't be like, oh, I can have everything. I can have female friends and I can have my wife or my girlfriend. Yeah, it'll work out. It's just so stupid. And venting to her about our fights. That's just despicable. And texts her good morning. Okay, wow, borderline cheating are we? This is what they call emotional cheating, right? Why the hell do you need to text your female see, I was going to say girlfriend, because that's pretty much what you're acting like. She is your girlfriend. Your female friend good morning. Why the hell do you need to do that? I'm not jealous of her. Wow. You kind of sort of should be at this point. I'm furious that he's outsourcing the intimacy of our relationship to another woman while leaving me with the dry husk of his attention. Yeah, this is already... Just break up or divorce. That's what you need to do with this douchebag. She's not a friend. She's the understudy learning my lines. Yeah, this is sick. And he's a director keeping her on standby. Her point is that these friendships often cross emotional boundaries. Yes, they do. They always do. And it always works both ways, by the way. But we'll get to the women also. That should be reversed for the partnership. Making the girlfriend feel like a logistical spouse, while the friend gets the emotional connection. Yeah, this is an absolute huge red flag, bigger than the Chinese flag itself. Look, no. How about no? Number one is just straight up no. If you're with a douche guy like this, just end it. Just that he does not love you. He doesn't respect you. If he insists on having female friends that he's this close with, or even a fraction of close to them, drop him like a bad habit. All right, so number two, the selective history omission. The friend, he's known since college. Yeah, they hook up twice sophomore year and decided it wasn't right. The friend from work, they go for drinks alone every Thursday. All right, another red alarm. Drop him like a bad habit. He conveniently forgets these details until I find out and look like the crazy one for questioning it. His friendship is built on a foundation of selective amnesia and emotional affairs he's too cowardly to call what they really are. Her point is that men often downplay or hide the romantic or sexual history with a friend, creating a trust bomb that explodes later and reframes her reasonable suspicion as irrational jealousy. Yeah, so, you don't have to tell your partner your entire past if you don't want to. But, if you trust your partner, yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of how well you guys get along with each other. Trust, it's the most important part of any relationship. Eventually, you're going to have to tell her your past. You don't have to, but if you have something called a conscience, then you're going to eventually want to. Now, if it's something that can spark way too much controversy and you don't think that she's ready or she'll ever be ready, well, you got to kind of start questioning who you're with. Because for me, it's 100% trust. I tell her everything, my entire past and everything. And she does the same. It's not a requirement, but it really is a sign of love when you tell your partner everything. You don't just tell your partner everything right off the bat. Because if the relationship's going south or it's going mediocre at best, then no, you should keep that stuff to yourself because obviously it's probably not going to succeed lifelong. But yeah, no secrets because your past can be held as a secret, believe it or not. I know people don't like to hear this because they're like, well, I'm not obligated to tell my past. I don't have to. You can't interrogate my past. You're right. But you have to think about it. Well, then, if you can't tell your partner about your past, what does that say about who you're with? You can't trust her with such information. And then you're going to argue, no, it's just that I don't have to tell her. Why so aggressive about it? Well, because it could probably already just, it could make things worse. Why are you nervous about your current relationship? See, because that's a good test of faith in each other, of trust. If you tell your entire past to your partner and she's okay with it, then it's good to go. That's a green light. You need to know this. Because if she reacts in a very bad way, well, it's better you know now than later. Better now than later, I'll tell you that. If she has a problem with your past, any aspect of your past, that would have popped up in the future anyway. And even if it didn't, this is a good test to see how much she loves you. You don't have anything to lose. Just tell her. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, a lot of guys, they're afraid to communicate these things because they're like, well, I don't have to. Well, then I question who you're with. How trustworthy are they if you can't tell them about everything about your past relationships? And if you say you don't have to, why are you hiding it? So yeah, you can do whatever you want, but there are consequences to actions or lack thereof. I'm just going to tell you that. All right, so let's continue here. They go out for drinks alone. That's a huge red flag. All right, so he conveniently forgets these details until I find out and look like the crazy one for questioning. Yeah, so, I mean, if she's prying too hard and she's the one trying to dig into your past without your consent, you're like, no, just leave it. I don't want to talk about it. Then she's obviously the problem. It has to come from you, not from her. If you don't want to talk about your past, when she asks you, then just don't talk about it. You have all the right. But eventually, it should come from you. And her past as well. It works both ways. All right, so his friendship is built on a foundation of selective amnesia and emotional affairs he's too cowardly to call what they are. Yeah, so, I mean, I do agree with this, but, with that special caveat, right? So that trust bomb she's describing here, explodes later. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Your sexual history, all that should be in confidence with your partner. Yeah, that suspicion of irrational jealousy, look, I understand it completely. She has a point, but once again, you're going to have to be the one to disclose it on your own terms. And as specific as whatever you feel is possible. And it is a little bit tricky because she has to do the same. Now, here's the game. Unfortunately, it turns into a game. It's not supposed to be. How much can you trust each other based on what you're telling about your guys' pasts? It's really deep. It gets pretty deep. It's all about trust. And why is it so important? Because you can't move forward if you don't fully understand each other's past, like where you guys come from, because that's going to create little rifts in the present moment, problems going forward. You're not secure. You don't exactly know who you're going to plan to spend the rest of your life with if you don't know their past inside and out. You don't have to play psychologist, but you got to know at least the titles. You know? You don't have to know the who, what, when, why, where, how entirely, but you got to know the general gist. I mean, it happens with everything. When you study, when you do research on something before you accept something, before you buy a product, you do your homework on it, right? You look at the reviews. You look at, use your own discernment. Is it a good product or whatever? It's not that your partner's a product. It's just that it's the same approach. You have to conduct proper research. What if she has such a dark past? Maybe she abused men in the past or whatever. It's not, when you're talking about a potential lifelong relationship, there's none of this, it's none of your business nonsense. No, your past is her past and your past is each other's business at that point. Understand? You can't get around that. Potentially spending the rest of your lives together. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3. That's a really deep topic right there. The comparison trap. She's the cool girlfriend who isn't like other girls. She doesn't nag him. She plays video games. She's low maintenance. She's the fantasy of a woman with no needs who validates him unconditionally. Meanwhile, I'm the reality of a partner who has to ask him to do dishes. All right, that's just immature, okay? Just do the damn dishes. And plan our future. I'm not competing with her. I'm competing with the caricature of a woman he's built in his head. And she's happily playing the role. Her point is that the female friend often represents an idealized low-stakes version of a woman that the boyfriend uses consciously or not as a weapon to invalidate his partner's legitimate needs and emotions. Okay, so that's a bit technical. We got to jump back to number 1, to the first part of this one, number 3. She's the cool girlfriend. Okay, so we're talking about his friend once again. Well, who cares how she's like? And if you already know how she's like, it depends on the guy how he's referring to her, his friend. But here's the thing. You shouldn't be in competition with anybody. If you already know what your partner likes, you have to be that and so much more. Well, I'm not going to change. Well, then drop it. Divorce, breakup, whatever it is. Get the hell out of there. If your partner is not willing to change to be everything to you, your deepest fantasy, your ideal woman, the best of the best, 100 women in one, you're not the right woman for him. And he has to do the same to you, by the way. It's always both ways. People don't understand that. They can't get it through their thick skulls. You have to change for your partner. You don't like it? Don't waste your partner's time, their precious life. Don't do it. Because if it's everything that they want and you don't give them not even a fraction of it, you should give the whole package to your partner if you really love them. Love is love. It's 100%. It's all or nothing. If you think that's an extremist view, don't waste anybody's time in a relationship, a serious relationship. Just go ahead and goof around with orgies, one-night stands, be a swinger, which is another word for a loser. Because you're just going to end up all alone and regretful and blah, blah, blah. You waste your entire life like that. But yeah, so, this is just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. This number 3 here. The reality of a partner who is... If you have a little hint of what your partner wants you to be, you either become that person and so much more, you have to blow his mind away, or you're just always going to be subpar. You don't want that, because later on he might cheat on you, he might break up with you or divorce you, maybe you guys have kids in the equation. It's going to be nasty, all because you refuse to change for the better. If you love your partner so much, you will change for them. You're not going to lose yourself. You keep yourself and you evolve. And you both have to change together. A little seed becomes a little tiny stem, then a tree, and then a bigger tree. You guys get it, okay? Love is 100% conditional. You guys have to condition each other and build something together. All right, so let's go ahead and jump gears switching over to the men here. The orbiter in waiting. Her guy best friend isn't a friend. He's an orbiter. Okay, fair point. He's a man who wanted to date her, got friend zoned, and is now parked in her life, providing boyfriend level emotional labor. I really hate that term. Without the title. It's not labor, people. Waiting for his shot when I fail. Well, that could be the possibility. But like I said before, that's just another reason not to keep friends of the opposite sex. None of you. It ends when you guys start to fall in love. It ends right there. Hell, even before that. He hates my guts. She dismisses it as him being protective. Now, see, that's when we're playing with fire, people. That's precisely the type of crap I'm talking about. And I'm supposed to be cool with a rival having a front row seat to our relationship. That's not a friendship. It's a delayed negotiation. His point is that many male friends are suitors in disguise, providing intimacy with unspoken expectations, which makes the boyfriend feel like he's in a competition he never agreed to join. Okay, so that falls hand in hand with the woman's number 3, right? Her third point. Yeah, same thing. So don't play with fire, right? He's got the 100%, valid reason to be saying this. Number 2, the emotional cheating proxy. That's what I was warning you guys about. No, it's just like, but we were friends for so long. I can't just, okay. Just keep lighting those matches. See if one of them's going to catch the entire house. I'm telling you, man. Don't play with it. All right, so let's see. She tells him things she doesn't tell me. Our private fights. All right, so this goes hand in hand with number 1 or 2 on the other side with the women. Okay, so my vulnerabilities, her doubts about us. He becomes her confidant, and I become the subject they analyze. Yeah, this happens quite a bit. And it doesn't have to be friends of the opposite sex, by the way. It could just be the girls' night out and she starts dishing out all of her private life with her friends. It's going to get pretty bad. Like, I'm not saying you're not allowed to talk about your private life with your friends of the same sex, by the way. I'm just saying that you might want to keep that stuff private. You might want to. Maybe one trusted friend for advice. But don't go overboard either. You got to keep a lot of things private unless there's something alarming that they need to know about. Learn how to settle your own battles and your own troubles and challenges. That's paramount. It's good advice. It really is. All right, so she's building intimacy with him over the breakdown of intimacy with me. By the time she says, we need to talk, she's already processed it all with him, and I'm just there to be delivered the verdict. He's not a friend. He's her co-counsel in the case against our relationship. Well, I don't know. Are you failing with your relationship? I mean, it's kind of weak sauce. If you're winning with your relationship, then you don't have to worry about that. But again, she shouldn't be having male friends. Got it? His point is that the male friend often serves as an emotional surrogate, receiving the vulnerability and processing that should occur within the partnership, effectively hollowing out the relationship from the inside. Once again, how effective and how much quality is your relationship? How good is it? Because that's your bread and butter, okay? That's everything. If it's good to go, then you don't have to worry about this. Now, can you force her not to have male friends? No, just like she can't force you not to have female friends. But it's a huge red flag on either of your sides if you're giving way too much attention to these friends of the opposite sex. Especially if you're telling them all about your private life and yada yada. None of their business. I don't give a damn who they are, who they were, who you think they are. None of that. If you want to tell your private life, a bit of it, to your friends of the same sex, sure. But you really shouldn't. But if you need advice, go ahead. Right? There's not much of a threat there. But once again, you got to learn how to manage your own relationship together as a team. And then, it just really weakens the relationship when you start telling friends of any sex, like all your problems and all that. It says that you're not ready for a serious committed relationship. Like, you don't know how to handle your stuff. You shouldn't need the help of a friend to get you're just moving way too quickly in life if you're not ready to handle it by yourself. You understand how that works? It's all about being mature and intelligent. Handle your own life situations. Number 3, the test and cudgel, whatever that means. She uses her friend as a constant benchmark. He would never do that. He always listens. Oh, great. See, we're already way beyond the line. Comparing her friend to you. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about from a different angle. It's the same garbage, just a different bin. He's the perfect, unattainable standard because he doesn't have to live with her or deal with real life pressures. Yeah, that's true. I mean, say you guys break up or divorce, whatever the case is, and then he just files in line right after you and gets to go ahead. He's already got the key to her heart, right? Well, he's next in line. If she's such a bad person, is going to do the same thing to him. He's going to have to learn the hard way. That's being quite the fool, isn't it? Next. He's a fictionalized ideal she weaponizes to make me feel perpetually inadequate. And if I object, I'm insecure and trying to control her. It's a brilliant manipulative trap where her friendship is both the test and the punishment. His point is that the male friend is often leveraged as a tool for manipulation, a passive-aggressive way to criticize and control the boyfriend by invoking the example of a man who has none of the responsibilities of being her actual partner. Yeah, exactly what I was talking about. The next one in line, if that's the case, or the next wannabe in line, all the reason to not have friends of the opposite sex, people. This is all the garbage that you're going to have to... And there's so much more than this. There's so many, and they're all little tiny things that add up to bigger things. And it's going to throw the biggest monkey wrench into that clockwork of your relationship and just screw everything up. Either slowly, quickly, moderately. It's just a matter of time. Drop your friends of the opposite sex. You don't need them. And your friends of the opposite sex should know better. They should be like, yeah, you're taken. Best of luck in your life. If you need me in a case of an emergency, then yeah, you could call me. Like, I mean emergency, okay? You know what I mean. Not that other emergency. Like, striking DMs and trying to get into each other's pants. That's just called cheating, okay? You guys know what I mean. That's about it. A point of contact for emergencies. That's it. If you guys happen to see each other out there in, a store or a business, okay, say hi to each other, but don't get all like, oh my goodness, so let's catch up. Oh, wow, especially with your girl right there next to you. Like, why? Like, oh, how are the kids? And, how's it just means that you're bored. In other words, I know you think that you're being nice and everything, but your plate should always be full when it comes to love. And many people see that as an obsession, but that's precisely what's required in order to succeed with a lifelong relationship. You need to be obsessed with your partner in a good way, a healthy way. You need to be their everything so that they don't even need friends. You want to argue about that? Go ahead. I'm all ears. But I'm just telling you, every other alternative to that is going to lead to potential failure, most likely. Or just wasting time. Your friend should have somebody that they're 100% in love with. They have their plate full too. See how this works? It doesn't mean you can't say hi to each other or whatever, greeting each other. Like I said, you can, but you don't really need. Just keep friends of the same sex. Make it easy. You're going to avoid a lot of potential future pitfalls and misunderstandings, especially. Negative thoughts, doubts, you name it. People who think they can handle it are exactly the people who are not going to be able to handle it. Having friends of the opposite sex. And if you come and say, "Oh, I already do. I have lots of girls who are friends, and I'm happily married with my wife," and that, well, then you're probably not doing as good of a job as you think you are. Why do you need so many friends of the opposite sex? It's so stupid. It really is. Why are you so proud of it? It just, it's really sus. It's very suspect. And with that said, that does conclude our show for today. Be sure to binge watch all of these other shows. And if you want to be a guest speaker on my new show, Let's Talk About Love, become a free member on my website, payhip.com/yourquestforlove. Much love, everybody.